Hey everyone, we're back with another one. This is a Galaga. Just dead as I understand. Today is, what is it? It's Thursday, about 5:30 maybe. Thursday, December the 12th, 2019, about 5:30. Getting ready to start this one out. I've got it all hooked up and I've got my meter ready. So I'm going to check out the power. So let's go ahead and fire it up. And we're right at 5 volts, which is good. And you can see we got no sync for one. And I don't hear no sound, but I got to hook up the correct speaker wire, which I don't have hooked up. So let me go ahead and hook that up. But yeah, right now we got no sync. I want to know if we got any kind of sounds going on. Maybe I'll try to coin this thing up and try to coin it up and see if anything happens. Okay, I hooked up the speaker wire and we're getting this. Which tells me it's resetting. So I'm going to have to get the scope out and start probing around some stuff. And of course, it's got no sync, so this has 2 sync generator chips on it. Which one is here and one is here. So I might try reseating. This is the video sync guy right here, this custom. So I think I'll try, I think I'll try to reseat this guy right off the bat and see if we can get sync. See if this monitor will sync. Let's try that. Okay, I reset that guy. And you can see now it looks like we have a little bit more of a sync to the monitor, which is, these sockets suck. Just reseating that thing made it to where it synced. This is going to be a complete socket replacement on both boards and cleaning legs on chips. I think what I do want to go ahead and do is just probe around for some clock signals. And if clocks seem to be present and everything, I'm just going to have to replace sockets. But I think the first thing I'll do is I'll put the fluke on it and see if I can get through to stuff. But yeah, these sockets are a major problem, so. Oh well, anyway, first things first, I'm just going to fire up the scope, probe around, and see what we see. Okay, upon taking the board apart, which is what I'm doing right now, because I wasn't getting really anywhere with the fluke. Well, I did do ROM checks, but the RAMs weren't passing. They pass a little bit, and then I'd get decoding errors, and I'm like, it's just kind of flaky. But I was taking the board apart, and this guy right here has a leg completely folded over. That was in the sync generator, which would absolutely explain the white screen. So I'm tempted to just put this thing back together now with this straightened out and see what happens. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to straighten that to the best of my ability, and damn, I hope I don't break that, but I don't know. We'll see. And another one, this one right here, that back leg right there is like hanging on by a thread. it's ready to fall right off. Those are the only two issues that I've seen. Everything else, the chips look really good. But we'll see. I'm gonna try to strengthen that up. I don't know how or what I'm gonna do. But this guy, I got to try to bend it out and hopefully not break it. Okay, progress. I got the video board, all the sockets out of the video board. And I got some of the sockets out of this board. I got this one, this one, this one, and this one out. And I'm calling it a day. That's a lot. But it went good. No pads pulled. Looked really good. This guy, unfortunately, that leg broke off as I tried to bend it back. So I'm going to have to try to solder a lead onto it. Try to save that chip. But yeah, I'll get back at it tomorrow. I'll clear the rest of the sockets off of this board tomorrow and start soldering new sockets into it. That's it for today. Okay, I have finished with socket removal. Here is the CPU board. And the video board. No broken traces, no pads lifted. That's all the old sockets, all the junk. She's been hanging out watching me desolder these. These are the new sockets that are going to go in. So that'll be next, repopulating all the sockets. Okay, well, I've got the CPU board completed and cleaned. And yes, these have been replaced. I know it doesn't look like it. Really came out good. And we got nice new sockets. So tomorrow I'll do the video board tomorrow. And this one, of course, is a 42 pin. You got the 40 pin sockets, and this one's 42, so I had to do this because I don't have a 42 pin socket, so. All right. Yep, do the video board tomorrow, and we'll be ready to put her back together and see what happens. First, I'm going to have to address the one chip for sure that had the broken leg. And then the other one had a weak leg. So I'm going to have to address that stuff. See you tomorrow. Okay, now I have the video board complete. All the new sockets are in it. Flip it over and check out how it's looking. And over here, it's looking really good. Oh baby. Yep, it's looking good. Nice and clean. So now I'm gonna put them together and put the chips back in it. And put it together and see what happens. I still have to fix that one chip. Okay, we are repopulated. Nice fresh sockets. And we're going to go ahead and we're connected. I'm going to fire it up. And there it is. Sounding great. Now when the ship comes down and captures my guy, I want to make sure that that works right. Because I remember on a previous repair Galaga I did, it was goofy and it didn't line up right or something, and I'd have to go back and see exactly what that problem was, but I just want to make sure this works right. And it does. So this is looking good. But there is one thing about this. You see this Mappy, this old beat up Mappy board down here? It had a 07 custom in it. So I just popped that in there. The custom for this board is right there. I still have to try to fix and save that chip. But I know the hardware's good. It works. I just got to try to salvage that other chip. Because that Mappy board belongs to my friend Steve, and I can't give his chip away. So I got to try to fix that one. And if I can't fix it, then the owner of this board is just going to have to buy that chip. And I would say this chip right here, the 00, that's the one with the weak ground leg. I would never ever remove that chip again. It's in there, it's working, but it's got a weak ground leg. All the other chips are good. They're pretty nice. But I'm going to try to save that other chip and see if I can't do that. Okay, I've had this thing running for about 10 minutes and it started doing this flakiness. I turned it off and let it cool back down. I just turned it back on. It'll get worse as time goes. You see little goofy looking lines. See that? See how they're like little lines flaking out? See that? That little flakiness. Yeah. I believe that is a RAM problem, one of these RAMs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this thing run for about an hour, let it get really flaky, and then I'm going to start hitting the RAMs with my freeze spray. So I'll come back after about an hour, letting this thing run. Okay, it's been running for well over an hour now, and you can see it is jacked up. You see that? All that nonsense. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just start hitting it with free spray. Those rams, these guys right along the back edge. And I'm going to start with this guy right here. And we'll see the screen. Well, that quieted it down a little bit, it looked like. And it's still, I still see the, yeah. Well, looky there. It quieted right down, didn't it? I think it was this guy right here. I think it was this one. As you can see now, them lines are gone. The clear went right away. So I think I will let it go for another hour or so, something like that. And I think I'll hit this guy again once it's all flaked out. Just to make sure it's I might just remove all 4 of these and put a 2148 in the board. I don't know. Alrighty, yeah, I'm going to let it go again. I'm going to let it flake out again, and then I'm just going to hit this guy. I want to just boil it down to 1 chip. I think it's this one. This is the one that caused the biggest cleanup. Yeah, you can see those lines they're gone. Okay. Well, I guess I'll just let it go again, and I'm going to let it get all hot and flaky again, and then I'm going to hit that one more time. Okay, I have verified that I have 2 bad rams, at least. This one and this one. This guy right here, these guys that have the little shots coming off of them, if I hit this one with the free spray, they'll clean up. This one, these guys right up here, when they're flaky, I hit this guy right here, and their flakiness will go away. That's what I saw anyway. Yeah, you can already see that they're starting to reflake out again. So since I believe I have 2, I have 1 here and 1 here, I'm going to remove all 4 of these and put a 2148 right here. And just be done with it. Okay, you can see what I did here. I removed these 4 rams out of the board, and I socketed one 2148 ram right there. So I had suspected that this one and this one was bad, so I just removed the 4. what you're doing basically here is Midway with this board left an option to use 4 1-bit RAM or 1 4-bit RAM. And I don't know about you guys, but I would rather deal with 1 4-bit RAM any day over 4 1-bit RAM chips. And if you're like, well, the 1-bit ones cost so much cheaper. These are like $1. These are like almost $6. So really it's $4 versus $6. You know, and less headache of only having one chip to go bad. So, yeah. And you don't have to do it to both sides. These are independent of each other. So, yeah. But you cannot do, if you're going to, you have to remove all of these if you're going to do this. You can't leave one here, two in here, and then put one in here. These need to be removed. So let's go ahead and fire it up. Okay, looking good. Looking real good. The only thing to do now is to let it run. I'm going to let it run for about half an hour and I'll come back and check on it. And if in 10 to 20 minutes, if I don't see that line stuff happening, I know that that issue's fixed. Which I know it is. I know that issue's fixed because I know those RAMs were bad. So, all right, cool. I'm going to let this go for a little bit. We'll check back in about a half hour, maybe an hour. Let's give it an hour. Okay, it has been 1 hour and there is no flakage going on. So it looks like we got that problem solved. You can see there is no flaking out anymore. Very good. Well, there's only one thing left to do with this board, and that's to address that one clock divider chip. Sync generator, whatever you want to call it. And try to fix that leg, try to save that chip. So I'm gonna get at that and see if we can't save that chip. Okay, this is what I'm attempting. I got that ground down. I got the metal exposed for the leg. Had to grind into the plastic, and I got a good bit of metal there to solder this lead onto, and then I'll bend it down and cut it. Okay, there is our new leg. Soldered on, and just kind of squish it to flatten it a little bit at the bottom. Oh, we'll see. Plug it in, plug it into the board and see what happens. Okay, we are all hooked up. The new chip, or the chip with the new leg, is in the board. So we're gonna turn it on and hope for the best. And look at that. Looks good to me. All right, guys. Another Galaga saved. This was a complete socket replacement. Had a couple of bad RAMs, a couple bad video RAMs, and I believe those are just line buffering RAMs, which is why you saw lines of nonsense. Replaced 4 of those with 1. What else? Well, the chip with the leg that I had to manufacture a leg for it. And just clean up. That's about it, really. No major logic problems. Most of these old Midway boards are just dirty, nasty, corroded sockets and no connections. That's what, a lot of them turn out to just be. And those customs are really, really, really flimsy. So the less you have to mess with those, the better. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm glad we got another Galaga saved. And see you on the next one.